Thanks for stopping by the Eyes Open Network. And you read that headline right. New debt ceiling for the United States is $19.6 trillion, and this report is actually coming to us from Zero Hedge. Even as the bond market has been rather concerned about other possible debt ceiling showdown, as we've shown before, and which earlier today prompted the Treasury Department to announce the purposefully dramatic step to postponing the auction of 2-year notes next week. The reality is that one way or another, with the equity-driven wake-up call from the GOP or without, the debt ceiling, folks, will be raised. Now, the only question is going to be how much, right? Now, as a reminder for our listeners and our viewers, the reason why the total U.S. debt held by the public hasn't budged from the $18 trillion since March 16, 2015 is simply because that is when the last debt ceiling limit was actually hit. So in the last 7 months, the U.S. Treasury Department has been cruising along on emergency cash measures, even as the total debt, if only for reporting purposes, has not budged. But actually, folks, in reality, it has grown by almost $500 billion. And as you can see here on the U.S. debt clock, that's spinning out of control. Now, it will budge very soon, I promise you that, because no matter what the outcome of the upcoming week, the debt ceiling negotiations are going to have, and what the outcome of that, one thing is for certain, the U.S. has to be able to borrow more in order to survive. And as The Hill reported, when one gets behind the traditional posturing, the outcome will be the following, and I quote, "The House is expected as early as Friday to vote on a conservative debt limit proposal, even though chances are slim that the plan can pass the Senate. Speaker John Boehner told the GOP conference on Wednesday that he is expecting a vote on the Republican Study Committee plan that would raise the debt limit to $19.6 trillion from the current $18.1 trillion and would run through March of 2017. Now, who will be the actual Republican to submit this unpopular measure and this announcement and this move? Now, most likely, outgoing Speaker John Boehner, right? Because it's going to seal his tenure in his final act. With only 2 weeks to go, the pressure is on the House to pass a measure that raises the nation's $18 trillion debt ceiling amid a search for the next speaker, right? Because they're currently needing a new speaker. John Boehner's already announced himself out. So the Republicans will pretend to demand concessions such as balanced budget and other sound money conditions. The proposal would require a House vote on balanced budget amendment by December 31st of this year, would implement a short-term freeze on federal regulations through July 1st of 2017, and would compel the House to remain in session without a break even if spending bills aren't done by September 1st like they're supposed to be. But seriously, they're not going to get this because the corporations pulling the strings of every Washington, D.C. politician are the biggest beneficiaries from U.S. debt-funded capacities, right? Especially if one throws in the occasional contained or not contained war, which we're actually on the verge of right now. So what this simply means is another victory for the Democrats, obviously, who have required a clean debt raise. This is precisely what they will get and why it will have to take place under John Boehner, as Paul Ryan would surely tarnish his reputation from the Freedom Caucus if his first act is one seen as submission to the left, which means, to all of us, the only certain outcome from the melodramatic debt ceiling fight over the next several days is the following. The United States of America, folks, is about to have a brand spanking new debt ceiling, one that should last until at least March of 2017. So we're going up again to the tune of $19.6 trillion in debt. Just think about what's going on here, folks, for those doubters out there that, we're headed for a bad place. It's inevitable this is going to happen. Just imagine if you personally, in your own personal household, your debt ceiling was growing by 5-10% every single year with no sign in sight of stopping. In fact, there's proof that the spending is going to increase over and over and over again. Just think about it. What would happen to you personally or your neighbor? They're going to go bankrupt, right? Now, what if a nation goes bankrupt? What if the most powerful nation in the world, the most powerful nation in the world that holds reserve currency, what happens? Not good. Not good. Now, there's ways to protect yourself, and in upcoming episodes and videos here, you can be prepared. You can protect yourself just like the wealthy are doing. Thanks again for watching the Eyes Open Network the weekend coming up. I appreciate you tuning in. Subscribe to our channel if you like our updates and if you like our videos and you like our perspective and our opinion on a different view from what the mainstream media is spinning and propagandizing to you. Tune in to the news, the Eyes Open Network, and we will continue to produce videos like this that give you a different, slight perspective and keep you in tune to what's really going on so you can be prepared. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you like the video, share the video, and stay tuned for more videos coming real soon.